I'm Gabe, and welcome to this episode of Dungeon Masters New York, where we're going to be talking about making an LED or LCD gaming table. Now, if you're like me, you like to keep your game fresh, and you like to have a lot of fun stuff and props. You see here, I love my props and stuff, but, I started out where, when I was first gaming, I was doing, like what everybody does, do your maps on graph paper, and I still do it sometimes, because, you just don't always have all the resources, but, pen and paper, even if it's just a napkin and a crayon, you can make a map. But I like to over-deliver for my players, so I wanted something a little better. So my first step to doing that was starting to make these maps that I would print out off of Reddit, our battle maps. They have a lot of great maps on there by different people. I think this is DungeonMaster makes this one. And I did these, and these worked great for my games, but, they're expensive, and just one of these, usually getting printed out at Staples and the foam board together, it's running me something like $20 or $30 to make each one, which is, it was doable for a while, but it was getting expensive, because that's about, I made about 8 or 9, and after that I was like, this is crazy. So I decided at that point, instead of buying any more materials or printing out any more maps, I would make my own LED gaming table. I looked into it, and being a little bit crafty myself, I knew that it was something I could handle, and that's why when I started doing the research, I was surprised to see there wasn't a lot of other information out there on how to do this. So I wanted to put a video up, so if anybody wants to make their own LED or LCD gaming table, you can make it even simpler than this. I made this as a really simple design, using just tools you could find around your garage probably, so it's not a lot of specialized tools I used to make this. Obviously you could do a lot fancier of a job. I was on a short time frame also. I made this in about 4.5, 5 days. So, the longer you spend with it, the nicer it's going to look with your end product. But check out, I have a montage that's going to come up, and I'll talk about how I built it step by step, and hopefully that'll be helpful for anybody who wants to build their own table. If you'd like me to build a table for you, you can check out the information at the end of the video, and I'd be more happy to get in touch with you. Alright, enjoy the video. Bye.
So when I started, the first thing I did was I bought a TV over at Best Buy. It was on sale for TV sale, and I didn't realize it was actually a Super Bowl TV sale, but nonetheless, I got it for about 89 bucks. And then I started my blueprints. Blueprints are very handmade, as you saw, but they worked for me. Then I headed over to Home Depot and picked up all my supplies. So that's everything that I used to make the TV laid out, besides the tools. Next, what I did was I got my boards and I started doing some markings with my templates so that this way, when I started drilling my holes, I would, have them all in the same places. And that was really important to me because I wanted to have a lot of symmetry and have the table come out as professionally as I could. You can see where I also marked it where I was going to cut out the slot for the sensor, which is important to buy your TV first because you're going to have to fit it to where that sensor is, and the sensor is in a different spot sometimes, or it's bigger or smaller. As you see there, I sunk all the screws so that they wouldn't show after I put a compound on it at the end. So there's where I'm test fitting it, as you can see. So right there, it's starting to look a little bit more like something, but not so much. Still looks like a bunch of lumber, but you can see, it's starting to take shape. Once that was done, and I had most of my markings on, it was time to start cutting out the area there. So where the sensor goes. So I started cutting that out with a drill bit, just to cut out a couple of circles. Then I chiseled it the rest of the way out with just a hammer and chisel. So there's the 3 tools I used for that. And then afterwards, to smooth it up and make it a little nicer and more even, I used a rotary head that went on the drill bit there. Well, it was a drill bit, rather. But after I did that, I went back to the circle, cutting out bit, I guess you'd call it. I really don't know the name. And I cut out my air vents. They were 2 on one each side, and then that was the side with the sensor, and 3 on the other side. That's the hardware I used after I cut my vent holes. I got the rest of the hardware and started attaching everything, and then put my frame together, and then did my test fit, my first real test fit for the TV, and then I started getting the back panels measured and cut, and then ready to screw on. Same thing, I marked everything and pre-drilled all the holes for pretty much almost every screw that went into this thing because I didn't want any cracks or any complications. Now it's test fitted again now, once I put in some extra boards there for the negative space that helped fill it up so that it would fit nice and even with the TV. Then I slathered it in compound and sanded it down nice and smooth so that it would have a really nice professional finish, and you wouldn't see those seams on the corners there like you see in the picture. There's no seam, and also you can't see where the screws are anymore on the corners, which is nice. It looks, a little more professional. Then I went outside, I got that, and I started cutting the plexiglass down so that once I was done painting it, I could just drop that on top afterwards. After I was done with that, I went back inside, made sure everything fit nice, and then took it off, and then it was time to bring out the frame and start painting it black. Painted it about 3 times, I think it was, overall, just to give it a nice fine finish of gloss black Rust-Oleum. Then I put my plexiglass on. I used some spacers there so that when I put my hardware in, it wouldn't crack the plexiglass so easily, but I also didn't tighten it too hard because that could be a big problem. And then you can see there at the end is the finished product. With the LED lighting, all it was just a 4-sticker strip situation that you stick underneath it, and then you plug it into each other, and then it plugs into the USB on the TV, so then you don't even have to have an extra power wire. You just have the lights like that, and that was actually the simplest step. I didn't even take any pictures because it only took me about 40 seconds to put those in. But yeah, you might want to add a little extra adhesive to those strips though, because they don't stick very well. So I added extra glue, and you're going to need electrical tape for those connections with the LEDs. But beyond that, it's a pretty simple build, and I hope that was helpful for you.
So that was my video. I hope it was helpful. Thanks for checking it out, and if you liked it, please subscribe. I'm hopefully have some more Dungeon Craft videos coming up as I make more tables. If you're interested in getting a table from me, custom made, please check out my email and my links that are at the end or in the comments. Any other information about this table you want to know, please just drop it in the comments or email me directly if you want, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.